Vex Shadowheart's flagship was unlike anything Marcus had ever imagined. The ship stretched for kilometers in every direction, its hull a masterwork of engineering that seemed to blend organic curves with geometric precision. As his mining vessel was drawn into one of the massive docking bays, Marcus marveled at the sheer scale of the construction. "Welcome to the eternal darkness," Vex's voice crackled through the communication system. "Your new home, assuming our partnership works out?" The docking bay alone could have housed a small space station. Dozens of ships of various designs filled the cavernous space, from sleek fighters to massive cargo haulers. But what caught Marcus's attention were the crews working on the ships. They weren't all from Vex's species. He saw representatives from at least a dozen different alien races, all working together with apparent cooperation rather than coercion. When Marcus and Harmony disembarked, they were met by an escort of Vex's people. Up close, Marcus could see that they shared their admiral's otherworldly beauty, but there was something hollow about them. As if they were beautiful shells, containing diminished spirits, the escort led them through corridors that could have been mistaken for art galleries. The walls were lined with displays showing treasures from across the galaxy, artifacts, specimens, and cultural objects from hundreds of different worlds. It was an impressive collection, but Marcus noticed something interesting about the displays. They were all labeled with detailed information about the cultures they came from, showing respect for their origins rather than simple conquest. Magnificent, isn't it? Vex appeared beside them, having apparently teleported or moved too quickly for Marcus to track. "Each piece tells a story of a civilization I've encountered. Some are trophies of conquest, but most are gifts from peoples who chose cooperation over conflict." "It's impressive," Marcus admitted, "but I notice there are empty spaces between the displays." Vex's expression grew serious. "Those spaces are for treasures I haven't found yet, or for civilizations that chose destruction rather than submit to a stronger power." She gestured for them to continue walking. "Come, you wanted to see how the singers are treated. Let me show you." They traveled deeper into the ship, past crew quarters and recreational areas where aliens from various species mingled freely. Marcus noted that while Vex's people were clearly in command positions, the other species didn't seem oppressed or fearful. Confused and uncertain, perhaps, but not terrorized, the singer-holding area was nothing like the prison Marcus had expected. Instead, he found himself in what looked like a luxury resort designed specifically for crystalline beings. The chambers were filled with harmonic resonators that created beautiful music, and the lighting was carefully calibrated to enhance the natural luminescence of the singer's crystal bodies. But despite the comfortable surroundings, Marcus could sense the sadness that filled the space. The dozen singers present were all healthy and well cared for, but their songs were mournful, filled with longing for something they had lost. Harmony pressed close to Marcus, its own humming taking on a sympathetic tone as it communicated with its fellow singers. Through their mental link, Marcus began to understand the true situation. "They're not prisoners," he said aloud, realizing the truth. "They're refugees." Vex nodded approvingly. "Very good. Yes, most of them came to me voluntarily after their worlds were destroyed by the Devourers. I offered them protection and purpose in exchange for their cooperation." "The Devourers?" "A species of pure energy that consumes entire star systems for nourishment. They've been spreading across this galaxy for the past century, leaving nothing but empty space in their wake." The singers' homeworlds were among the first casualties. Through Harmony, Marcus felt the other singers' story. They had fled their dying worlds, seeking safety wherever they could find it. Vex had offered them sanctuary, but at the cost of their freedom. They were willing participants in her plans, but only because the alternative was extinction. "And your people?" Marcus asked, beginning to understand the larger picture. "Are dying," Vex said simply. "We achieved technological perfection 3 millennia ago. Since then, we've been slowly losing our ability to innovate, to adapt, to grow. We're immortal, but sterile in every way that matters." She gestured toward the singers. "Their psychic abilities help us remember what it feels like to truly live. And your species?" provides the chaos you need to keep growing, Marcus finished. Exactly. Humans are impossibly illogical, creative in ways that defy understanding. You see solutions that escape more advanced minds because you haven't learned what's supposed to be impossible yet. Marcus walked among the singers, feeling their mixture of gratitude and sadness through Harmony's translation. They were grateful for Vex's protection, but they mourned their lost freedom and the worlds they would never see again. That's when the idea struck him. "Vex," he said, turning to face the Admiral. "What if there was a way to solve all these problems at once?" "Explain." Marcus's mind was racing, connecting pieces that he hadn't even realized were part of the same puzzle. The Devourers consume star systems, right? They're beings of pure energy who need massive amounts of matter and energy to survive. Yes, they're unstoppable. Every fleet that's tried to fight them has been consumed. Because everyone's been trying to destroy them instead of understanding them. Marcus began pacing, his excitement growing. What if they're not invaders? What if they're refugees too, fleeing from something even worse? Vex's expression shifted from confusion to intense interest. Continue. Through their link, Marcus felt Harmony's growing excitement as the creature began to understand his line of thinking. The singer began humming urgently, sharing images and concepts that supported Marcus's theory. Harmony's people are natural empaths, Marcus explained. They can sense the emotional states of other beings, even across vast distances. According to the images Harmony is showing me, the Devourers aren't malicious. They're terrified. They're running from something in another galaxy, something that makes them seem small by comparison. Even if that's true, Vex said, it doesn't change the fact that they're destroying entire worlds. No, but it means they might be willing to negotiate if we approach them differently. Think about it. How many species have tried to communicate with them before attacking? Vex was quiet for a long moment. None. Every encounter has resulted in immediate hostilities. Because that's how advanced species think, identify the threat, assess its capabilities, and apply overwhelming force. But humans don't think that way. We try to understand first. Marcus turned to face the assembled singers. And if the singers could establish empathic contact with the Devourers, we might be able to find a solution that doesn't involve anyone dying. Through Harmony. The other singers began to show interest in Marcus's proposal. Their humming grew more complex as they discussed the possibility among themselves. It's too dangerous, Vex said finally. If you're wrong about the Devourer's motivations, everyone involved would be killed. Maybe, Marcus agreed. But if I'm right, we could save not just the singers and your people, but potentially millions of species across the galaxy. Vex studied his face intently. You're serious about this? Dead serious. Look, you said yourself that humans see solutions that escape more advanced minds. This is what we do. We look at impossible situations and find the one angle that nobody else considered. The conversation was interrupted by an alarm throughout the ship. Vex's expression immediately became grim as she activated a communication device. Report. Admiral, long-range sensors are detecting a Devourer incursion in the Kepler sector. 3 star systems are already showing signs of energy drain. The planetary governments are requesting immediate evacuation assistance. Vex looked at Marcus. It appears the universe is offering us a chance to test your theory sooner than expected. Marcus felt his heart racing, but his voice remained steady. How long do we have? At their current rate of consumption, perhaps 6 standard days before they reach the inhabited worlds. Through their link, Harmony was practically vibrating with nervous energy. The other singers had heard the report and were humming among themselves in urgent harmonies. They want to try, Marcus said, interpreting the singers' communications. They understand the risks, but they're tired of running. They want a chance to fight back in their own way. Vex was quiet for several minutes, weighing the impossible decision. Finally, she activated her command link. All departments, prepare for emergency jump to the Kepler sector. Combat alert status, but no one fires unless I give explicit orders. She turned to Marcus. If this goes wrong, ... It won't, Marcus said with more confidence than he felt. Sometimes the craziest plan is the one that works. The journey to the Kepler sector took 2 days at maximum speed. During that time, Marcus worked with the Singers to develop a communication protocol that could be used with beings of pure energy. It was unlike anything that had ever been attempted, requiring the Singers to merge their individual psychic abilities into a collective consciousness, capable of reaching across the vast distances of space. Harmony served as the bridge between Marcus and the other Singers, translating his ideas into concepts they could understand and implement. The little creature had grown visibly stronger since joining the group. Marcus's mining ship danced through the deadly crossfire with impossible grace, its movements guided by Harmony's crystalline touch on the controls. But even with the creature's enhancements, they couldn't keep gauging forever. The 3 warships were closing in, their weapons growing more accurate with each passing moment. "There has to be something else we can do," Marcus muttered, his eyes scanning the tactical display for any advantage he could exploit. That's when he noticed something odd about the enemy formation. The ships were maintaining a specific pattern, always keeping a certain distance from each other. Through their mental link, Marcus felt Harmony trying to share more information. Images flooded his mind, the woman in black commanding fleets across the galaxy, but always using the same tactics, the same formations. She was powerful, perhaps even unstoppable. But she was also predictable. Marcus had learned something during his military service that most alien species seemed to have forgotten. Sometimes the best strategy wasn't to fight harder, but to fight differently. "Harmony," he said, his voice calm despite the chaos around them. "Can you boost our communication array? I want to send a message." The creature's humming took on a questioning tone, but its crystal hands moved over the controls, enhancing the ship's communication systems far beyond their normal capabilities. Marcus opened a channel to the lead warship. "Unknown vessels, this is Marcus Chun of the independent mining ship Prospector. I'm claiming salvage rights on the vessel where I found this creature, under Article 12 of the Galactic Commerce Code." For a moment, the weapons fire stopped. Marcus could almost feel the confusion from the enemy ships. Then the woman's voice crackled through the speakers, filled with amusement. "Salvage rights? My dear human, do you have any idea who you're dealing with? I am Vex Shadowheart, Admiral of the Dark Fleet, collector of the rare and impossible. I've conquered star systems while your species was still learning to use fire." "Admiral Shadowheart," Marcus replied formally, "I'm sure your reputation precedes you. But galactic law is galactic law." The ship was abandoned, broadcasting a distress signal with no response to standard hails. "That makes it salvage, and anything found aboard it belongs to the salvager. That includes any survivors I might have rescued." There was a long pause. When Vex spoke again, her voice carried a note of genuine curiosity. "You're either very brave or very stupid, little human. That creature is worth more than 1,000 of your mining ships. What makes you think I won't simply take it?" Marcus smiled grimly. "Because you're curious about me now? You could have destroyed my ship 5 minutes ago, but you haven't. You want to know what kind of human has the audacity to claim salvage rights against the Dark Fleet?" Through their mental link, Marcus felt Harmony's amazement. The creature had never seen anyone stand up to Vex Shadowheart, much less use legal technicalities against her. "Very well," Vex said finally. "You have my attention. I'll make you a deal, Marcus Chun. Come aboard my flagship for negotiations." "Just you? Leave the Singer where it is." "Counter-proposal," Marcus replied. "We meet on neutral ground. There's an abandoned trading station 3 light minutes from here. Both parties bring minimal security." Another pause. When Vex spoke again, she sounded almost pleased. "Acceptable. You have 1 hour to reach the station. Don't try to run. My ships are faster than yours." The communication ended, and the 3 warships pulled back to a respectful distance. Marcus set course for the trading station, his mind racing with possibilities. "This is crazy," he muttered to himself. Through their link, he felt Harmony's agreement, tinged with gratitude and something that might have been admiration. The abandoned trading station was Exactly what Marcus had hoped for, a neutral environment with security. Systems that could be activated by either party. As his ship docked, he saw one of Vex's vessels approaching from the opposite direction. "Stay here, Harmony," Marcus said, checking his sidearm out of habit. "If things go bad, use the ship's enhanced systems to get out of here." Harmony's humming became urgent, and through their link, Marcus felt the creature's determination. It wanted to come with him, to face Vex together. But Marcus shook his head. "One of us needs to survive to tell this story. Besides, I have a feeling Vex is more interested in me than she's letting on." The trading station's main hall was a cavernous space designed to accommodate dozens of different alien species. Marcus arrived first, activating the station's basic life support and security protocols. When Vex entered a few minutes later, she came alone, just as agreed. In person, she was even more striking than on the communication screen. Tall and graceful, with an otherworldly beauty that seemed almost predatory. Her armor flowed around her like liquid shadow, and her silver hair moved with each step as if it were alive. But it was her eyes that held Marcus's attention, dark as space itself, with points of light that looked like actual stars. "Well," she said, her voice echoing in the empty hall, "you're not what I expected. Most humans I've encountered are either cowering in fear or foolishly attacking by now." "I'm not most humans," Marcus replied simply. Vex circled him slowly, like a predator evaluating prey. "No, you're not. I can see that. Military background, your posture gives it away. Combat experience, but not a career soldier. You chose to leave the service for something else. Mining work, perhaps?" "Yes, I can see the radiation exposure markers in your skin tone." Marcus remained still as she continued her examination. "You're very observant." "I have to be. I've spent centuries collecting the rarest treasures in the galaxy. It's taught me to recognize value when I see it." She stopped directly in front of him. "The question is, what exactly are you, Marcus Chun?" "A man who keeps his word," Marcus said. "I told that creature I'd help it get home. I intend to keep that promise." Vex laughed, the sound surprisingly warm. "Admirable. Foolish, but admirable. Do you have any idea what you've rescued?" "The Singers were the most powerful psychic species in the galaxy before my people conquered their worlds. One fully mature Singer can influence the minds of thousands, reshape matter with pure thought. Even bend spacetime itself." "And you've been collecting them," Marcus said, pieces of the puzzle falling into place. "Using their abilities to power your weapons." "Not just weapons," Vex corrected. "The Singers are the key to technologies beyond your imagination. With enough of them, I could reshape the galaxy itself." "But you need them alive and willing," Marcus guessed. "Coerced Singers don't work as well as cooperative ones." Vex's eyes narrowed. "Very good. Yes, willing cooperation produces far better results. Unfortunately, most Singers prefer death to serving my purposes." She gestured dismissively. "Such a waste. So what do you want from me?" "I want you to convince your little Singer friend to join my collection willingly. In exchange, I'll let you live and give you enough credits to buy your own fleet of mining ships." Marcus considered the offer for a long moment. "And if I refuse?" "Then I take the Singer anyway, and you die slowly while it watches. Eventually, it will cooperate to stop your suffering." "There's a third option," Marcus said calmly. Vex raised an eyebrow. "Oh? Enlighten me." "You let us go, and I don't activate the trading station's emergency beacon." For the first time, Vex looked genuinely confused. "Emergency beacon?" Marcus smiled. "This station is equipped with a galactic emergency broadcast system. When I activated the life support, I also armed the beacon. If I don't send the correct deactivation code in..." He checked his chronometer. Minutes. "It will broadcast our location and a distress call to every ship within 50 light years, including a detailed record of our conversation." Vex's expression darkened. "You're bluffing, am I? You said yourself that I'm not like most humans. I spent 3 years in military intelligence before I transferred to medical service. I know how to read station schematics, and I know how to turn emergency systems into weapons. The two of them stared at each other for a long moment. Then Vex threw back her head and laughed, the sound echoing through the empty hall. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. You're using the galaxy's own legal and safety systems against me. No wonder the singers have such faith in primitive species. You think in ways we never consider. So you'll let us go? Oh, my dear Marcus, you've misunderstood the situation entirely. Vex's smile turned predatory again. I'm not here to negotiate for one singer. I'm here to recruit you. Marcus felt his heart skip a beat. What? Do you think this is the first time I've encountered humans? Your species has been spreading across the galaxy for decades now, and you're all the same, unpredictable, innovative, absolutely impossible to understand through conventional logic. I've been looking for a human advisor for my fleet, someone who could help me anticipate the irrational decisions that primitive species make. You want me to help you conquer other worlds? I want you to help me understand them first. Conquest is so much more efficient when you know how your enemies think. Vex took a step closer. Your species has a gift for seeing solutions that escape more advanced minds. Today is a perfect example. Marcus kept his expression neutral, but his mind was racing. And harmony? Would remain with you, of course. A willing singer is exponentially more valuable than a coerced one, and it's clear that the creature has bonded with you. Vex's smile softened slightly. Marcus Chen had seen plenty of strange things during his 3 years working the asteroid mining routes, but nothing quite like the small, crystalline creature dying slowly in the cargo bay of the abandoned ship. The distress beacon had been weak, barely detectable against the cosmic background radiation that filled this sector of space. Most pilots would have ignored it. The outer rim territories were full of ghost signals, dead ships broadcasting automated pleas for help long after their crews had perished. But Marcus had learned to trust his instincts during his time as a combat medic in the Human Defense Corps. And something about this signal felt different. The ship itself was unlike anything in the galactic databases. Its hull seemed to be grown rather than built, with smooth curves that reminded Marcus of bone or coral. Strange symbols covered its surface, glowing faintly with their own inner light. When he docked his mining vessel to the mysterious craft, the airlock had opened without any electronic handshake, as if the ship itself had recognized his presence and welcomed him aboard. Now, crouched beside the dying creature, Marcus felt that same inexplicable certainty that had led him here. The being was no larger than a house cat, its body composed of what looked like living crystal. Fractal patterns swirled beneath its translucent skin, pulsing with a rhythm that grew weaker with each passing moment. Its large, multifaceted eyes tracked Marcus's movements, and he could swear he saw intelligence there, maybe even gratitude. Easy there, little guy, Marcus murmured, extending his hand slowly. The creature didn't flinch as his fingers brushed against its crystalline surface. Its body felt warm, almost fevered, and Marcus could feel a faint vibration beneath his touch, like a heartbeat made of music. The creature's distress was obvious even without a common language. Its crystal body had several dark cracks running through it, and the light patterns beneath its skin flickered irregularly. Marcus had seen enough field injuries to recognize critical trauma when he saw it. Whatever this being was, it was dying. Marcus activated his suit's medical scanner, hoping for some useful data. The readings were unlike anything he'd ever seen. The creature's biology was completely alien, based on silicon and rare earth elements rather than carbon. But the scan did reveal something useful. The cracks in its crystalline structure were growing, spreading like fractures in glass under stress. Structural failure? Marcus muttered to himself. He'd seen something similar before, though not in a living being. During his mining work, he'd learned to repair crystal matrix damage in specialized equipment. The technique involved using harmonic resonance to realign molecular structures. It was delicate work, requiring precise frequency modulation. Marcus looked around the alien cargo bay and spotted what appeared to be some kind of medical equipment. The devices were clearly designed for the crystalline being's species, but their function was obvious enough. He carefully lifted the creature and placed it on what looked like a treatment table. The surface immediately began to glow, Responding to the being's presence, working by instinct and his knowledge of crystal structures, Marcus began to experiment with the alien medical equipment. The devices responded to touch, their interfaces adapting to his human hands as if they had been designed to work with multiple species. It took him nearly an hour to understand the basic controls. But gradually he began to see patterns in the alien technology. The breakthrough came when Marcus realized that the medical device operated on harmonic principles similar to the crystal matrix repair tools he used in his mining work. But instead of working with inorganic crystals, this equipment was designed to heal living crystal structures. With careful adjustments, he began to apply resonant frequencies to the creature's damaged areas. The response was immediate and dramatic. The cracks in the being's body began to close, the dark lines disappearing as the crystal structure realigned itself. The light patterns beneath its skin grew brighter and more regular. Most remarkably, Marcus began to hear something, a soft, musical humming that seemed to come from the creature itself. As the healing progressed, Marcus felt an odd sensation, as if something was gently probing the edges of his mind. Not invasive or threatening, but curious and grateful. The creature's large eyes fixed on his face, and Marcus had the distinct impression that it was trying to communicate with him. The sensation grew stronger as the creature's health improved. Images began to flash through Marcus's mind, not his own memories, but something else entirely. He saw vast cities made of living crystal, beings like his patients soaring through the air on wings of pure light. He saw a terrible conflict, ships like the one he was on fleeing through space, carrying refugees from some unimaginable disaster. When the healing process was complete, the creature sat up on the medical table, its body now whole and gleaming with renewed vitality. The musical humming grew more complex, almost like speech, and the mental contact became clearer. Marcus still couldn't understand the creature's language, but he could feel its emotions, profound gratitude, relief, and something that might have been friendship. The creature gestured toward one of the alien devices, and suddenly the air above the table shimmered with holographic displays. Star charts appeared, showing locations throughout the galaxy. The creature touched one point on the display, then looked at Marcus expectantly. "You want to go home," Marcus said aloud. The creature's humming took on an excited quality, and Marcus felt a wave of confirmation through their strange mental link. Marcus studied the star chart. The creature's destination was in the galactic core, thousands of light years from their current position. It was a journey that would take months, even with his ship's faster-than-light drive. But looking into the creature's multifaceted eyes, Marcus knew he couldn't abandon it here. "All right, little guy," he said, carefully lifting the creature from the medical table. "Looks like we're taking a trip." The creature settled into Marcus's arms with what seemed like contentment, its soft humming creating a pleasant vibration against his chest. As they prepared to leave the alien ship, Marcus noticed something strange happening to the vessel itself. The symbols on its walls were growing brighter, and he could feel the ship's systems powering down in what seemed like a deliberate shutdown sequence. When they reached his mining vessel, Marcus was surprised to see several small objects floating in the docking tube, crystalline items that had apparently been ejected from the dying ship. The creature in his arms hummed urgently and gestured toward the objects. When Marcus collected them, he felt a sense of completion from his companion, as if these items were important somehow. Back aboard his own ship, Marcus set course for the galactic core. The creature, which he had started thinking of as Harmony because of its musical voice, seemed fascinated by human technology. It spent hours examining the ship's systems, its large eyes reflecting the glow of display screens as it studied their function. What surprised Marcus most was how quickly Harmony adapted to life aboard the ship. The creature seemed naturally curious about everything, from the food synthesis units to the gravity generators. Through their growing mental connection, Marcus began to understand that Harmony's species were natural engineers and scientists. With an intuitive understanding of how complex systems worked, 3 days into their journey, everything changed. Marcus was in the ship's tiny galley, preparing a meal when his proximity alarms began screaming. He rushed to the bridge to find three massive warships dropping out of faster-than-light travel directly in front of them. The vessels were unlike anything in the standard galactic databases, sleek, predatory shapes that seemed to drink in light rather than reflect it. A communication signal forced its way through his ship's defenses, overriding his systems with casual ease. The main screen flickered to life, revealing a woman who made Marcus's blood run cold. She was tall and pale, with silver hair that seemed to move with a life of its own. Her eyes were the color of deep space, dark and filled with stars. She wore black armor that looked like it had been forged from shadow itself, and when she smiled, Marcus saw teeth that were just a little too sharp to be entirely human. "Well, well," she said, her voice carrying harmonics that suggested it was being transmitted through technology, far beyond anything Marcus had ever encountered. "What do we have here?" "A little human playing with things he doesn't understand." Behind Marcus, Harmony began to make distressed sounds, its crystal body dimming with what was clearly fear. The woman's eyes shifted to focus on something behind Marcus, and her smile grew wider and more predatory. "And there's my little runaway. Did you really think you could hide from me by jumping onto the first rescue ship that came along?" Marcus felt Harmony pressing against his back, seeking protection. The mental contact between them was filled with terror, but also with determination. Whatever this woman represented, Harmony was not going to surrender without a fight. "I don't know who you are," Marcus said, trying to keep his voice steady, "but this creature was dying when I found it. I'm just giving it medical assistance." The woman laughed, a sound like breaking glass and distant thunder. "Medical assistance? Oh, my dear human, you have no idea what you've stumbled into. That creature is one of the last of the singers, the most powerful psychic species in the galaxy."